Elliott said, once they kick this thing off, it's all about trying to get the dub, and it isn't going to be easy here on the road. Clemson won the toss and deferred to the second half. That means Virginia will receive this opening kickoff. Robert Gunn III will kick it off for Clemson. Toe meets leather, and we are underway here at Memorial Stadium. And there'll be a touchback, and we'll get our first look at Anthony Calandria, the sophomore out of St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah, really live arm. He's able to make all the throws. He also has great legs. He can beat you on the ground. The question about Anthony Calandria, and it's been that way since he's started playing halfway through last year, his freshman season, was how consistent can you be? Can you hold on to the football? Can you not turn the ball over? If there's nothing available, can you throw the ball away instead of taking a negative play? That's what he's been working on this year, and there's no better test for him today than this vaunted Clemson defense.
The pitch to Pace. Has some room on the left side. That's a good start for this Virginia offense. Give him 8 yards before Wade Woodaz brings him down.
It'll be interesting to see how this offense decides to attack Clemson's defense. So many teams have opted not to run up the middle because of the big defensive linemen that we talked about in the open. A lot of the run game has been towards the perimeter. That's what we saw in that opening play, and let's see if that continues as this game progresses.
Marked it off at 7 yards, so second down and 3. This time they try Pace up the middle, and he's swallowed right up by T.J. Parker.
T.J. Parker, the sophomore defensive end, this is their zone read play, and Avion Terrell, the corner, does a good job of playing the quarterback. Great job by T.J. Parker with the TFL, but that's what happens when you try to run up the middle on this defense, and now when it gets scary for a quarterback is when you get T.J. Parker, Peter Woods, and these guys rushing the passer, and they will bring pressure a lot today. Wes Goodwin loves calling it pressure.
The tight end Neville in motion. Keep it on the ground. Pace trying to find that 35, and he's going to be a couple of yards shy. Peter Woods, the 315-pound defensive end, making the tackle. Got a Virginia player injured. That looks like right guard Ty Furnish. And that is not good news for Virginia because they're already banged up on that offensive line. Mikhail Boley's been banged up, although he's playing today. Noah Josie, the left guard's been banged up. This Virginia staff trying to work on Ty Furnish. You see a little concern from Coach Elliott, having a word with his quarterback. Emotional day for Tony Elliott. Anytime you have one of your players injured, it gets even that much more emotional. As he'll make his way out here to check on Furnish.
See if we can see an injury at all on Furnish on the right side of the
51,
screen.
yeah, he just goes down.
Yeah, he just goes down and kind of in the mess of bodies around the offensive line.
So now the shell game continues for Virginia. These offensive lines, you got to move a guard to center, a center out to guard, move a tackle over to the other side. That's usually what happens when one of them gets hurt.
Great stop, 3 and out by Clemson to start the day, and brings up Daniel Sparks to punt. Daniel Sparks, we called the game last week. He had some difficulties getting the ball off, some low punts. Let's see if Clemson does try to come after him.
Low kick. Antonio Williams opts to let it bounce. Didn't have much of a choice as the coverage was outstanding. Bounces out of bounds at the 15, and that's where Cade Klubnik and the Tigers will take over.
We talked about it a little already, but Cade Klubnik, his maturity from freshman year to sophomore year, and then now he's in his 3rd year as the quarterback for Clemson. He has just found a rhythm. He is able to slow his brain down, his mental down. His body is able to adjust to the game of football, and he can find wide receivers when they are open rather than just pulling it down and running all the time. He has a natural balance now and a good clock in his head of when to get rid of the football.
Fakes to Phil Maffa, tries to go downfield, has a receiver, and it's TJ Moore, the freshman. So much has been made of this freshman class of receivers, T.J. Moore and Bryant Wesco. Wesco is out for another game. His second game he's going to miss with an injury, but they go right to Moore.
Yeah, great job just finding the man-to-man coverage on the outside. Initial check down was taken away. Great completion on the first play of the game.
Maffa in motion now. He'll split wide to the top of your screen. Empty backfield for Klubnik. Looking to throw again. That's Brittingstool, his tight end.
And he was covered by Trey McDonald, the linebacker for Virginia. He's playing in place of the injured James Jackson. It's going to be a tough matchup for these linebackers and safeties all day, with Jake Brittingstool at tight end, 6'6", 240-pound tight end that Dabo Sweeney says the best tight end he has ever coached at Clemson.
Now Maffa gets a chance inside, bounces off the initial tackler, gets it to within 2 of a first down. Cam Butler brought him down.
You see they're going to pull the backside guard and tackle, and just the ability to break through the arm tackles is what Phil Maffa has been good at for so long. Split carries the last couple of years with Will Shipley, and now it is his ship to steer. And they just call him Steady Eddie, Mr. Reliable there in the backfield.
They give them off of here. Powers his way forward. First down in midfield.
They just go back to a dual play. They get everybody going forward. Double teams across the board, and you see the power of this offensive line for Clemson just walking back the D-line of Virginia.
There you see Phil's numbers by year. Much more of him this year as the bell cow back falls forward for about 3, about 2.5.
We talked to the coaching staff just about the different weapons, the young guys on the outside at wide receiver, Jake Brittingstool, and really it was all like, hey, it comes down to number 7, right? This game is going to go through Phil Maffa, and if he can be productive on the ground, it can open up everything else. All the other playmakers can get their touches when Maffa has a big game.
You see Brittingstool line up in the slot, third receiver in from the bottom of your screen, pitching it to Maffa. That's blockers on the outside, and one of whom was Brittingstool, but Maffa was brought down after a gain of about 3 by Corey Thomas Jr., the transfer from Akron.
Yeah, really good tackle by Corey Thomas Jr. They saw it was the coverage on the outside. It was a cover 2. They felt like they had good angles and just said, hey, look, let's get Phil Maffa one-on-one in the hole with the safety. Good tackle by Corey Thomas Jr. to bring up third down.
Maffa went to the sideline. We'll keep an eye on that. Empty backfield on third down. Klubnik to throw. Pressure up the middle. Now he moves the pocket. He's in a little bit of trouble here, but gets out of it. As a receiver wide open downfield, and he sees him. That's the speedster Turner. Inside the 20, down to the 18. Mark, even I could see how wide open 22 was once he rolled the pocket.
Yeah, he starts all the way at the bottom of the screen, and you got to try to track him the whole way because he runs just to find an opening. And this is a scramble drill. You work this all the time in practice, usually on Thursdays, kind of towards the end of the scripted part. And you say, look, the quarterback's just going to scramble. You got to find the sideline, get open for him. Great job by Klubnik finding his open guy.
Klubnik to throw again. Has time. As a receiver at about the 12. It's Antonio Williams on the catch.
Last week, Virginia's defense gave up a lot of yardage between the 20s, but once Louisville would get down inside the red zone, they really were tough to score on. Really pretty easy, not a lot of resistance moving down inside the red zone here. Let's see if Clemson can put this one in for 6.
Klubnik 4 for 4 for 48 yards on this opening drive for the Tigers. To throw again to the end zone, just off the hands of T.J. Moore. Jam Jackson in coverage, but Moore would like to have another opportunity at that one.
And I think this one, Cade Klubnik got a little bit too excited. He saw it right away. You see, it's an RPO. He pulls the ball back and really doesn't get that back foot set. Just kind of throws off that front foot, floats a little bit. He had T.J. Moore for that one.
Maffa back in the game on 3rd down and 9. Clemson's converted their first 2 third down opportunities of this game on this drive. Klubnik keeps it. Now he looks to throw. Touchdown, Tigers. Got a flag on the play. Let's check the marker. That one was a lot easier than the one before for TJ Moore to haul in.
Anytime you have those type of scramble plays, you always wonder if an offensive lineman gets downfield or not.
And the Clemson offense is staying on the field.
An eligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Nate Black, our referee, making the call. So they'll wipe the touchdown off the board. It'll be 3rd down and 14.
You see right tackle was pulling around the left-hand side. You see him right around the 7-yard line. That's always the problem, right? Is when you have one of these improv plays and the quarterback kind of makes something out of nothing. The offensive linemen are like, wait a second. I thought you were going to be following me
right
on the QB sweep.
Don't have eyes behind my head.
That brings up 3rd and 14.
Let's see if Virginia wants to bring a little pressure here. They come with just 4. Klubnik has time, dumps it off to Brenningstool. Can't make enough men miss. Tackle by Cam Robinson. So after a 6-yard gain on 3rd and 14, it'll bring the field goal unit on, and Nolan Hauser, who's been an outstanding kicker for them in his freshman year.
Cam Robinson, the linebacker, he's a true sophomore as well. He is phenomenal for Virginia. We saw him last week make a couple of these tackles that just short of the line to gain. That one was a big tackle on Brenningstool to hold him to 3 points.
29-yard attempt here from Hauser. And it's good. Tigers on the board first here at home. They lead 3-0 over Virginia. Our Week 8 ACC Network football lineup continues this afternoon. NC State squaring off against Cal, and will cap the night with number 21 SMU and Stanford at 8 o'clock Eastern. Both games also available, as you know, on the ESPN app. Noah Vaughn back to receive the Robert Gunn kick. Vaughn might get a shot here. He's going to take it just inside his own goal line, and he's going to be dropped before he even gets to the 20. Down at the 18. Cole Harvey, what's going on down on the field?
Yeah, well, guys, the last Virginia drive, we saw right guard Ty Furnish leave with what appeared to be a lower right leg injury. Athletic trainers evaluated him inside the medical tent for several minutes. When he came out, he had a new, fresh wrap around his right foot. We'll see if that tape job ends up helping him out. I saw him testing out that foot before trying to get back in the field. I don't see him on the field at the moment, but it appears that we may see Furnish back in this game, which will be big for Virginia.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, certainly with this offensive line that is banged up a bit coming into this game. Virginia 3 and out on their first possession. Now Xavier Brown in a tailback. Clemson showing a little bit of pressure. They bring it off the edge. It's picked up. And Calandria hits his receiver out to the 25. That's Malachi Fields.
Yeah, and if Virginia wants to have success in this game, they have to get Malachi Fields going. He is by far their most dominant weapon on offense, and he had a phenomenal game last week. 9 catches for 130 yards. He had a 148-yard game versus Wake Forest. This 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver can be a problem for these defensive backs of Clemson.
Second down and a long 2. Brown just tries to submarine his way forward. Doesn't pick up much, maybe a foot. Barrett Carter and big old DeMonte Capehart on the tackle.
They're trying to move around the defensive line with all the shifts and the motions, but you just see Capehart and Peyton Page, number 55, creating a flat wall across, and that allows Wade Woodaz to fit where need be, and it's just difficult to run in between the tackles on this Clemson defense.
Brown. First down and more. Got to the next level, still carrying defenders. Out to about the 38. Khalil Barnes brought him down, but a good run by Brown.
Yeah, he comes right in the left A gap, and watch him submarine. He ducks down and just sneaks his way in between the offensive lineman. Great run.
Little tempo now from Virginia. Pass overshooting his intended receiver. That was Andre Green. Flag down, though, at that spot. Maybe on Terrell in coverage.
Illegal substitution. Defense, more than 11 players on the field of snap. 5-yard penalty. No first down.
Substitution infraction. Dabo's not happy with it. Virginia will get 5 yards and a 1st and 5.
Yeah, it also looked like it might have been pass interference on the defense as well.
Virginia would have rather have had that one, but
yeah,
they'll take this one. So Landry getting a chance to settle down a little bit on this drive with Virginia's first down. Looking to keep it going. Has time. Now he steps up. Finds his tight end over the middle, midfield. First down for Virginia. That's Tyler Neville. We got 2 outstanding tight ends in this game. Both teams have one.
Yeah, Tyler Neville, he's just been a phenomenal story for Virginia, but also a great player at that tight end position. And he's really allowed Anthony Calandria to have those safety valves like you just saw there, right? Anthony Calandria, they run a little dice route, meaning they're having 5 guys in the dice position. Number 6 over the middle was open initially, but then you see Calandria just buy some time, find his tight end. Tyler Neville, the transfer from Harvard, has been big for Virginia this year.
And Clemson showing a little bit of pressure. Woodaz is coming. Incomplete. Fields that time defended nicely by Terrell.
Well, you don't see as many teams run the type of pressures that Wes Goodwin will on Clemson. I mean, this is a single up pressure. You know, 0 pressure. You got man-to-man across everywhere, and you can get to the quarterback, but you have to be able to trust your cornerbacks in coverage. Great job by Avion Terrell and Jaden Lucas on the outside, just having nothing for Calandria to throw to.
Here again, Clemson showing pressure.
Again, 0 pressure.
Got it out quickly to Fields. That's a first down. Jaden Lucas to cover on the other side this time in coverage, but 13 more yards for the Hoots.
And they put Fields in the slot position. Usually he lines up at the outside position, and that's where Jaden Lucas is normally playing, on the outside coverage. Good job of finding the matchup they wanted and getting the ball to their big receiver for the first down.
Landry with the play fake. Just gonna throw this one away. Smart play by 10.
That's what you want to see from Anthony Calandria. Nothing open downfield. Clemson dropped back in a zone and matched up with their wide receivers as the zone developed. And Calandria, a lot of times, you know, he saw his tight end waving his hand at him. He turned to the sideline and threw it away. Nice, smart play by this young quarterback.
He's one of those guys where you're like, oh no, yes,
yeah.
no, yes. You just never know what he's going to do in a play when it breaks down. It's what makes him exciting, what makes him good, but sometimes gets him in trouble. Now pressure up the middle. He gets through it, though. He can make big-time gains with his legs. And Wade Wood has brought him down, but that's 8 yards downfield.
Yeah, and this was, you know, the pass rush lane for these defensive tackles got a little too wide. Watch as they go towards the outside. That's an easy lane for Calandria to step up into. Vacated by the linebacker. Big pickup. And this defense that was so good at stopping them up the middle on the first drive really has been exposed in that area on this one.
Going to be close. I think he's going to come up a little bit short. It's going to be almost a yard short.
You're saying go. You see coach. Go. You think they're excited on that Virginia sideline? They're saying go for it. Brady Brosterhouse with the push.
Flag down on the far side. It looks like he's going to pick up the first down, but we got to check that marker. Initial indication is Clemson might have moved a little bit early.
Offside. Defense. Line up in the neutral zone to snap. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Neutral zone fashion. Dabble wants an explanation of what's going on with this defense because they stopped them 3 and out on the opening drive for the Cavaliers, but Calandria's making hay here on their second drive.
Yeah, and just as easily as Cade Klubnik brought his team, his offense down the field in the other direction, now Anthony Calandria is doing it on this second drive.
First set of downs. Fake to pace. Calandria rolling to his right. Incomplete. Woodaz knocking the pass away.
Wade Woodaz isn't talked about as much as Barrett Carter, but he is a phenomenal linebacker. And watch his eyes in this zone, seeing the tight end coming back across. And I can't believe that arm angle attempt by Anthony Calandria, just kind of flinging it like a shortstop.
It's almost Kent Colby-esque, the submariner. 11th play of this drive. Colby Pace was split up on the top of your screen. Now he comes back into the backfield for Calandria. Clemson brings just 4. Still getting pressure on Calandria, and they drop him. And a late flag. At the very end of the play, right where Calandria was dropped. 8-yard loss, but let's check the marker.
Personal foul. Face mask. Grasping the helmet. Defense. Number 55. 15-yard penalty. Results. An automatic first down. Number 10 may remain in the game as his helmet was removed as a result of the penalty.
Peyton Page, guilty party, taking another look. See if we can see the face mask.
I don't see it anywhere there.
You can't see how the helmet came off. Calandria's helmet came off in the tackle.
You see the push that
right.
Capehart has up the middle, and that allows TJ Parker to come around the outside. I don't know. It looks like it might have been the back of the helmet that Peyton Page had would not result in a face mask. This crowd is letting the officials have it with that one. Man, what was a big sack and nullified by that penalty, and Virginia has new life.
1st and 10 from the 12. Calandria on the right side picks up good yards on first down, about 9 yards before Lucas was able to bring him down. 2:23 left to go in this first quarter. Clemson on their first offensive possession drove down the field, but had a penalty that negated a touchdown, had to settle for a Hoosier field goal. Give them this 3-0 lead. This is the second drive of the game for Virginia. They went 3 and out in their opening drive, but they've taken this drive now the length of the field, aided by several penalties against Clemson defensively.
Yeah, and they've had 5 first downs on this drive. This is the 11th play. Grady Brosterhouse is in now at quarterback.
He is the big power runner, if you will, in this quarterback room for Virginia. That's exactly what he's going to do. It's going to test the middle. Didn't get to the goal line, but he's close to that first down marker, just outside the 2.
And he just ran right into R.J. Minkins, the free safety, one of the best players on this defense, and stoned him just short of the first down.
Well, what did Coach say about R.J. Minkins? Precision beats power.
Yes.
Brosterhouse brings power. Minkins with the precisely timed tackle brought him down 3rd and 1. They can get a first down without getting into the end zone. Calandria back in the game. Now Virginia's got a fullback. That's the tight end. Calandria was looking his way. He's not open. He has to throw it away. Sammy Brown applied the pressure, the freshman linebacker.
Saying go for it.
He's bigger than Bettridge. He's going to try and kick it.
Same hand signal for go for it and for kick it. He tricked me. No picking signals up here.
Like Hoosier for Clemson, Bettridge has been extremely accurate this year. 20 yards. And he knocks it through. Crowd doesn't like it, but that man does. Tony Elliott's squad coming back to make things even at 3. Three our score here in Death Valley, late first quarter. Coley Harvey's down on the field with a report.
Chris, today is such a special day here at Clemson. This is the school's annual breast cancer awareness game, and when Dabo Swinney became the head coach here in 2008, he wanted his foundation to lead research efforts to end this horrible disease. Since then, his All-In Team Foundation has raised more than $13 million. They're going to be buying a new bus, a third bus that will provide free mammograms to women in underserved areas of South Carolina. And, in 2012, Dabo lost his sister-in-law, Lisa Lamb. She had a serious bout with breast cancer. She beat the breast cancer, but cancer returned and ultimately claimed her life in 2012. He told me yesterday that Lisa is tough, a fighter, a great mom, and he's proud that her legacy is living on a day like this.
Yeah, it's a huge day here on campus, Coley. Appreciate that. You see all the pink players wearing it. Even Tony Elliott has some pink in his shoe. He said as soon as he got off the bus, he gave Miss Kat, that's Kathleen, Dabo's wife, a big hug and said, that's why I'm wearing pink today. So it's a big day for these folks here in Clemson. Got a big game here as well, tied at 3. Back after this. Well, a lot has been made of Dabo Swinney not opting to go into the transfer portal to a large degree, like so many in the ACC have done, including Tony Elliott. He has got a ton of transfers just in this past year alone that are making a big impact. Dabo prefers to do it through recruiting and then using NIL money to retain the players that he recruited out of high school, Mark, and it seems to be working for him.
Yeah, I love that little graphic, that cartoon animation. First time I saw that, I was like, hey, look at Dabo standing outside the club.
His back turn.
With his energy, that dude was inside the club in college. But yeah, he's done a good job. He's done it in the way that he wants to do it. I mean, that's what he's always said. He's going to do things his way, and he's done it for a very long time. Obviously one of the most successful coaches in all of college football history, doing it his way.
Maffa beyond the 35. That'll move the chains. Cam Robinson on the tackle, but 9 yards for 7 in orange.
Again, they're getting back to these double team blocks up front, just coming straight ahead at the defensive front for Virginia.
Klubnik will get another play off. Downfield, dangerous pass, and it's intercepted. Cam Robinson makes the pick, and Klubnik may have saved the touchdown by bringing down 5 and white, but it's a turnover to end the first quarter.
First down, Virginia. That is the end of the first quarter.
A phenomenal job on that one by the linebacker. We talked about him before, Cam Robinson, with his ability to make plays in the backfield. This time, great eyes mirroring the quarterback. He comes away with the turnover, gets Virginia the ball in Clemson territory when we come back.
Welcome back to Clemson with Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. And Coach, costly turnover there at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
What does Cade need to do better there?
Just make a better decision, bad decision. I mean, just simple as that. Got a good first down right there, and that's not something he's done. He's been a good decision maker. He'll bounce back. That was a bad one. Good play by them, bad decision by us.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Coach.
Thank you, Cole. Coach R.J. Mickens with a big hit on first down immediately following the turnover to open up this second quarter. 7-yard loss on the play. So now Virginia behind the sticks. Landry to throw. And immediately flushed out of the pocket. Tries to hit his tight end, Neville. Khalil Barnes in coverage.
Did you see Peter Woods, big number 11, flying after Calandria? He just got up on his horse to chase down a very mobile quarterback.
They are getting good pressure up the middle with just 4, aren't they?
They are, and that's been one thing that people don't talk about enough is the push that DeMonte Capehart and Peyton Page get up the middle, allowing Peter Woods and TJ Parker to get off the edge to the quarterback. I would not be surprised if Wes Goodwin doesn't send more than 4 here.
Looks like he wants to bring Wood as. Virginia just 1 for 4 on 3rd down today, and this won't be easy. 3rd and 17, but Calandria gets loose. He'll get the first down. Driven out of bounds at the 21.
And Clemson decides to run a twist game on the inside. You see Woodaz vacate that interior lane. And Anthony Calandria, just a great job. I think he was told, look, we got to pass downfield, let's take it. If not, try to find that open lane and pick up as much as you can to try to get in field goal range a little bit better. He did even better, picked up the first down with his legs.
The fake to pace. Calandria looking back that way. Now over the middle. Neville on the catch. Picks up 8. Woodaz and Carter bring him down. Kind of like we saw at the start for much of the game last week for Virginia against Louisville. Not all that interested in going downfield early. Dinkin and Duncan. They're working on the slot, working on the tight end. It's worked for them so far. Drove down the field for a field goal on their last drive. And after the interception, back in the red zone, going this direction. Fake to pace, shovel pass. Picked up by Twitty. I think that's going to be a first down. 5 yards on the pitch and catch. Dakota Twitty came in at tight end because Neville was shaken up on that last catch he had.
Yeah, good to get Dakota Twitty back. He's missed the last couple games. He's already made 2 big plays. That one was a little bit risky with the shovel pass.
1st and goal. Calandria again to throw. And the touchdown. That's Dakota Twitty. 8 yards, and the interception comes back to haunt Clemson.
And Virginia, and they caught Wes Goodwin's defense not ready to play. Their hands were not in the dirt. Look, they're looking around, standing around, and Barrett Carter and Jaden Lucas, just no communication on the outside. Dakota Twitty just gets up, runs a quick flat route, and that's a wide open, easy decision for Anthony Calandria. It's a miscommunication and lack of urgency from Wes Goodwin's defense on that last play.
Bettridge buries the point after. Dakota Twitty back from injury. His first touchdown of the year. Calandria comfortable in the pocket, and now with the lead. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified October 11th through the 20th as ACC Unity Week. That is where we are today at this very moment. Virginia up 10-3 early 2nd quarter, turning a turnover into 7 points.
How about that swing, right? You know, you get stopped 3 and out the first drive if you're Virginia, then you let Clemson drive all the way down the field, but you make a red zone stop. And then you drive the ball down the field, you get a touchdown. Did the ball come out here?
I think he was down. They're going to rule him down. Jay Haynes had all kinds of issues. First picking it up.
Ruling on the field, the runner's forward progress had stopped. First down.
They're going to obviously look at that. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you about women's sports, the takeover on Sunday afternoons here on the ACC Network. This week we start at noon Eastern with a soccer doubleheader. Number 25 Cal squaring off against Louisville. Then number 12 Notre Dame hosting 6th-ranked Stanford. We cap the afternoon with Duke and Virginia Tech at 4 o'clock. A little volleyball action. So it has been a nerve-wracking couple of minutes here for Clemson.
Okay, Klubnik, you heard Coach Sweeney say just made a poor decision on that last interception.
They go right back at it. Stellato on the receiving end. Troy Stellato, receiver, part of this great receiving room. Missed all of last year with an injury for the most part. And Coach says he's got the best hands on the team. So you got Stellato, you got Adam Randall, who we've yet to see today. Saw TJ Moore on that opening drive. Antonio Williams. I mean, it goes on and on. Klubnik again to throw. Has all kinds of time. Has a receiver. That's Stellato again. Jonas Sanker on the stop, but not before Clemson moves the chains.
Yeah, and I think, Cade Klubnik's a little hesitant. Watch on the bottom of the screen. Watch the tight end, Jake Brittingstool. He's wide open. He's wide open behind the defense, but I think Cade Klubnik's a little bit in his head after that last interception thrown. Hesitant to pull the trigger down the field. It's a good completion for a first down, but he could have had a touchdown on that one.
Well, Coach Dabo, in our conversation with him, said last week Brennan still could have had even more big plays down the field, but Klubnik missed him a couple of times. Still, though, moving the ball 15 yards to Antonio Williams. And fresh set of downs near midfield.
Yeah, these are rhythm throws, right? You get the quick three-step drop, you hit him on a slant route versus cover two. Nice, good completion for a 10-yard pickup.
Fake to Maffa again. Gonna go downfield. Looking for more. Just can't quite make the catch, but all kinds of laundry in the end zone. Kendron Smith is the graduate transfer from Penn in coverage.
Pass interference. Defense. For 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
DJ Moore in the slot to the top of the screen just runs the inside fade route. Excuse me, he was lined up at the outside. Just runs the go ball. And the ball was just thrown way up there. Got kind of caught in the sun. But you see the pull on the shoulder pads by Kendron Smith. Good call by the officials.
Smith ran with him down the field. He just never turned to look for the ball.
The ball hung up there so long.
Maffa tries a stiff arm. Gets an extra couple of yards. Jam Jackson on the tackle. The pass interference call against Smith was the first penalty of the game against Virginia.
Virginia, very few penalties on the year, one of the least penalized teams in the ACC.
Klubnik to throw. Has all kinds of time scanning the field, goes underneath to Maffa, makes the catch. 20, down to the 10 before finally being forced out of bounds by Robinson.
That's a cardinal error by Trey McDonald, the linebacker. You're going to go for the ball. You got to tackle the receiver.
Let's check the marker right at the end of the play. 22 yards. See if there's anything tacked onto it.
After the play was over. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 9. 20 is half the distance to go. Automatic first down.
Call going against Jam Jackson. They'll go half the distance.
And look, Trey McDonald, number 8, does a good job of staying over top of Phil Maffa. It's just when the ball is being delivered, you can't go and try to jump in front and make a play on the football. You got to tackle the running back. That missed tackle led to that big gain, and we didn't see the issue at the end by Jam Jackson.
Now the officials are talking things over. I didn't see it at all.
Correction after the play, personal foul, necessary roughness. Offense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, down counts.
Well, that's an entirely different story, and that one makes more sense. Jake Brittingstool, he was tied up with Chico Bennett behind the play and kind of threw him down. You watch Brittingstool, he's right around the hash mark. So there was the play before he was tied up with Chico Bennett, and now he's got some of that physicality to keep going as he hits Jonas Sanker in the back.
We'll take another look at this after this play. It's a big penalty against Clemson. Again, penalties hurting the Tigers. They move him back 15 yards. Maffa trying to get all of it back on this carry. He gets back inside the red zone. Let's see where that penalty occurred.
Look right around the 10-yard line. That 10-yard line, that's Jake Brittingstool, and he had been tied up with Chico Bennett the play before, and you get some of this emotion out there. That one just a clear block in the back on Jonas Sanker, unnecessary.
Going to the end zone, has him wide open, and he overshoots him. At Brittingstool, there wasn't a Virginia defender within 15 yards of him.
Yeah, and This is sometimes what happens with Cade Klubnik. And I talked to Garrett Riley about it, and I said, what is it about these moments in the game where Cade Klubnik's just not accurate? His accuracy goes away, and Garrett Riley said, look, it's when he does not slow the game down. It's when he kind of gets too hyperactive or maybe sees a big play too fast and tries to force it in there. That one, he just let it fly way over the head of the wide open Jake Brenningstool.
Maffa still on his feet down to the 10. And keeps this drive alive for the Tigers.
Yeah, and that's 2 times already that we've seen Brenningstool wide open behind the defense for Virginia. And those are plays as we look forward. And Clemson, number 10 in the nation right now, they have their eyes set on winning the ACC championship and going to the college football playoff. Those are plays that Cade Klubnik has got to review on film and correct and make going forward.
Maffa picks up about 3. He's gone over 50 yards already in this game. Big old Jameer Carter on the inside on the tackle. Even though they've had penalties and Klubnik's missed a couple of open receivers, Brenningstool both times, it's still a time-consuming drive, and so far very effective for Clemson following the touchdown off the turnover for Virginia. 10th play of the drive. Klubnik is going to keep it himself. He's got Maffa in front of him. Inside the 5, another flag down. Several of them.
Personal foul. Legal block, boys. Defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And that one is going to go against Virginia.
Yeah, I think it's on Trey McDonald, the linebacker. He just took out the pulling guard below the knees, and you can't do that. You watch number 78 on the outside. You can't just chop block an offensive lineman. And again, that's Trey McDonald filling in for the injured James Jackson. He has been a solid player for Virginia, but those are 2 mistakes for him on this drive.
Pitched him off, but he'll score easily.
Well, after the turnover thrown in the last series by Cade Klubnik, he came back, and although he missed some big targets down the field, he was consistent with hitting the underneath routes. And then Phil Maffa did a great job of sprinkling in the run game, marching their way down the field to end up in the end zone.
Hoosier splits the uprights. And Clemson comes right back. Virginia scored off the INT. Tigers march down the field, even things up at 10 here in Death Valley.
All right.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Still about 3 weeks from the unveiling of the first standings for the college football playoff, but according to the AP poll, if we were to put it together right now, this is what it would look like. Clemson sitting there at number 10, or a rematch against Georgia if that were to happen. Oregon won last night, no problem with Purdue. Miami's in action right now, early lead over Louisville. That's a big game in the ACC. And of course, Texas and Georgia a little bit later on today.
Yeah, and you look at that, and it was interesting talking to Dabo Swinney about that Week 1 game against Georgia. He said, look, we got a freebie. We got a chance to play a top team in the nation Week 1 where, we lose it. We still got all the chance in the world to get back to play them again. And you see how that bracket lined up for them to have that rematch against Georgia.
Guns kick sails out of the back of the end zone. Last drive for Virginia.
Calandria got the touchdown, right? But it started with the interception and Cade Klubnik with the mistake, and then the big run by Calandria up the middle. Then able to find the tight end, as Clemson did not line up properly on defense. And so it was kind of a comedy of errors by Clemson with the interception, the long run that was given up on 3rd down and 18, and then not being lined up on defense. And see if this defense comes back to play on this drive.
Do on 1st down. Pace picks up about a yard.
There's Peter Woods. Big 6'3", 315-pound sophomore out of Alabaster, Alabama. Him and T.J. Parker on the 2 bookends. They've been phenomenal for Clemson. You know, they came in last year. They played as true freshmen. And, you know, they are best of friends, right? They're going to be 2 that grow up in this Clemson defense together, and they are dominant forces on the outside.
Landry to throw. Up to Tyree. You can see the speed. Another flag down right at the line of scrimmage. And then they get Andre Green here with a hold.
And it started out good. Started out with a really good looking block. And then that block just continued a little bit too long.
Holding. Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And Chris Tyree coming back for this Wahoo offense is a big deal. You see how number 2, Andre Green, just takes the defender all the way to the ground. You got to let up at some point, especially as Shelton Lewis, the defender, was kind of spinning off. But getting Chris Tyree back for this offense, it's big. You know, he's their slot guy. He was a running back at Notre Dame, transferred here after kind of making that transition partially at Notre Dame, fully transitioned to wide receiver here at UVA, and getting him back adds that extra dimension in the slot for Calandria.
Landry can't handle the snap, but just has to fall on it. This drive is starting out in disastrous fashion for Virginia. Another 6 yards in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Brian Stevens, as he's moving to the right for this zone block, just kind of pushes the ball off to Calandria's left, who's unable to hold on to it. Got to be very cautious here if you're Virginia. They're lining up an empty set right now, so if you don't motion anyone back in to try to help protect Calandria, you better get the ball out fast.
Virginia just 2 for 5 on 3rd down, and another 3rd down and long here. Calandria's just going to keep it himself, not even get back to the line of scrimmage. Peter Woods. That young man is 315 pounds. He doesn't move like a 315-pounder.
No, they're so happy to have Peter Woods back. He got hurt in the App State game after about 12 plays in the 2nd game of the season. He missed all of NC State and Stanford. Came back a little rusty versus Florida State, and then last week was a dominant force versus Wake Forest, and you see his impact there again. TFL on 3rd and long.
Daniel Sparks will punt it away from his own end zone with Antonio Williams standing by at his own 45. Good kick. Williams catches the spy with the 44 and is dropped immediately. Nice job in coverage. So Davis Lane Jr. on the tackle. Williams caught it. Dropped right in his tracks. ACC Huddle crew is in Stanford, getting you set for SMU and Stanford at 8 o'clock Eastern. They'll join us, though, at 6:30 beforehand to give you a little bit of a preview. Then, of course, as always, after the game, they've got highlights and analysis of every ACC game on the day here on the ACC Network. Last 3 drives for Clemson, 11 plays field goal, 3 plays interception, 11 plays touchdown. It's feast or famine. And they're feasting on 1st down. Stool brings it in. It's right at the marker. It'll be about a yard shy.
Stool's been a mismatch this entire day. I mean, he has all season for defenders. That time, Jonas Sanker, one of the best defenders on their team.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty out of the play. Automatic 1st down.
Man, we've had a ton of penalties.
Yeah, we have. A ton of penalties. And Jonas Sanker tried to make the play on the bigger tight end, just couldn't get there. But you see Chico, oh, that is.
Please reset the game clock to 4 minutes, 53 seconds.
That is ticky-tacky. But Chico Bennett did place a hand on the helmet. I would not call that forcible contact by any means.
But it's just the latest in a long stretch of 15-yard penalties in this game.
Yes.
So now right back into Virginia territory, and Williams wants to throw the ball. He's got his receiver downfield. Stellato inside the 5, gets hammered but hangs on. A lot happened on that play, including a pretty nice pass from Antonio Williams.
Yeah, so first Stellato goes in motion, number 10. He goes across the field, and then the reverse to Antonio Williams. He gets Stellato matched up on a linebacker, and then he just gets behind him. What a play design by Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator. Big touchdown saving tackle on that one by Kempton Shine.
Well, Williams plays all 3 receiver positions, and now Dabo wants a timeout. And then on the run, he chucks a perfect pass 45 yards downfield. Coley, what's going on?
30-second timeout.
Well, Chris, just before this drive, I actually saw Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney walking up and down the sideline, going to every player on his offense, and he was repeatedly saying, way to respond, way to respond. He was talking, of course, about that last touchdown drive. The Tigers, it seems, are feeling like they've snatched the momentum back at the start of this drive, and it certainly seems that way as this drive has played out.
Yeah, now first and goal at the 3-yard line. We talked about the drives. It was really just that one interception that Klubnik threw that ended a very short drive for Clemson. Other than that, they've had success moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, the one time getting down in the red zone, having to settle for 3 points. But you're right, they've been moving the ball, and so it was that first drive with the field goal, then the interception. But Cade Klubnik, you know, watch him bounce back after that interception, after a poor decision. He does not compound that with another poor decision. He's been good since then. And Antonio Williams, how happy are they to how happy is Clemson to have him back after being injured all last year?
They give them off a. Did he get in? Officials come in. No signal yet. Now we get it. Touchdown number 2 on the day for Phil Maffa.
Bring the tight end across the ball, a little swap read type play, and then a good job pushing by this offensive front, getting Phil Maffa across the line in the end zone. And what a drive. Dabo Swinney said it, way to respond by this Clemson offense.
Hoosier no issue on the PAT, 17-10. Tigers back on top. Here you see Maffa's numbers, couple of touchdowns. Steady Eddie. Thought we'd see him. We still probably will see a little bit of Keith Adams, the hammerhead in this offense, and Jay Haynes, who they're really high on, the redshirt freshman who was injured much of last year. But you said it earlier, Mark, the offense runs through Phil Maffa.
So much of football comes down to converting on those 3rd and 1s or those 4th and 1s, or being able to punch the ball in from the 2-yard line or the 1-yard line. And that every team needs an ability to do that. You know, Virginia goes in that, you know, Grady Bunch type formation. Well, this is Phil Maffa's zone. You hand the ball to Phil Maffa, number 7, and he can pick up those tough yardage, those tough yards for Clemson's offense.
Back-to-back games now for Maffa with multiple rushing touchdowns, and we still have 3:42 left to go in the first half here. Well, we talked a lot about responding. You heard from Dabo and you heard from Cole as to how Clemson responded after the turnover and the ensuing touchdown from Virginia. Now how do the Wahoos respond on the road? Final 4 minutes of this first half. Vaughn is going to take a knee in the end zone for the touchback. Calandri's always the wild card, isn't he, Mark?
He is, and he's the one who can make the big plays for Virginia. He's the one who can make something out of nothing. Responded on the ground with the big run on 3rd down a few drives ago on the touchdown drive. And when you look at guys like Kobe Pace and Xavier Brown, they're important for this offense, but Anthony Calandria making good decisions and being able to break big plays, that's what makes this Wahoo offense go.
Last drive for Virginia was a disaster, a 3 and out, and they lost 15 total yards. Good to see Neville back in. The tight end was banged up. Trying to go to almost a remarkable catch by Malachi Fields. He can make that catch. Lucas was in good coverage.
And they're going to get man-to-man. And you see how Anthony Calandria, he just sees, look, I got my big wide receiver on the inside fade route. Almost made that one. Great job by Jaden Lucas getting a hand on the football. But that's what this Wes Goodwin defense is going to do. They are going to present man-to-man opportunities and create one-on-one matchups, and they believe their defensive backs can win.
Again, showing some pressure here, and they bring it. Brown maybe gets a couple at best.
Yeah, and there's, see Brown calling for the face mask. Let's see if number 11 gets a hand on the face mask. No, I think good call by the officials, just palms the helmet.
Big old paw.
I was going to say, his hand almost covered the entire helmet as he pulled him down.
Very apropos with the paw. Big pink paw with those pink gloves on. Cancer awareness game here in Death Valley. 3rd down. Calandria to throw. Just overshoots Malachi Fields again. Good coverage on the play as Calandria was dumped by Peter Woods. Jaden Lucas is doing a nice job on that far side on that drive. 2 passes defended against Malachi Fields. And there you see Fields talking to his position coach.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Anthony Calandria has to know is that which of these defensive backs is going against Malachi Fields, because Jaden Lucas is 6'2", 200 pounds. They match up relatively well in size. On the other side, Avion Terrell, he's only 5'11", 180. So you kind of want to get those matchups with the jump balls more when number 20 is guarding Malachi Fields rather than number 10.
Another good kick, spiral by Sparks, sends Williams back to his 22, and he's dropped right there. Good job by Xavier Brown. Virginia calls a core special teams player, also getting a lot of run at tailback, but he's an outstanding special teams teamer for them. So as I said before, it was critical for Virginia to respond. Well, now this defense has to step up because there's plenty of time for Clemson to mount another drive here to end the half.
Well, absolutely, and you think about the 3 drives that have been stalled for Virginia. There's 3 and outs. They have not gained anything on the last 2 drives, and this is an important drive for this defense for Virginia, because if you let Cade Klubnik and this team drive down the field and score another touchdown before half, then you're in a tough spot. Dabo Swinney harps so much on the middle 8, the last 4 of the second quarter and the first 4 of the third quarter. Let's see how Cade Klubnik responds.
Fake to Maffa. Good pressure on the edge. Chico Bennett forced the quick throw. Klubnik coming into this game, 17 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions on the year. So that interception earlier, just his 3rd of the entire season. Made such great strides from last year to this year. Now pressure, he gets rid of it though and couldn't find Stellato. And he took a shot right at the end of it too from Trey McDonald.
Phil Moffitt does a good job of stepping up in the hole, blocking the linebacker Robinson.
Oof.
You see the other linebacker coming in, Trey McDonald, laying a lick on Cade Klubnik.
Now it's Virginia's turn to step up on 3rd down. Clemson 3 for 4 on the day. This is 3rd and 10. Who's could get the ball right back? And they bring pressure. Maffa helps pick it up. Stellato makes the catch. I think he's going to be just shy. They're going to mark him at the 31. He's going to be 2 yards shy.
Good job by Klubnik standing in there as John Rodzinski and the defensive coordinator for Virginia brings pressure, but a little bit too low of a throw does not allow Stellato to catch the ball and run forward for a first down.
And right now it looks like coach is just going to let this clock run down to the 2-minute timeout and discuss it a little further.
This is 2-minute timeout.
Tigers facing a 4th down. We're at the 2-minute timeout. They lead by 7. Coming up on the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report, they'll have a full analysis of the first half of our game, plus give you an update on 6th-ranked Miami at Louisville. Huge game with ACC implications in that one. Got some Buffalo CJ Spiller fans in the house. According to ESPN Analytics, the best chance to reach the ACC championship game, it's a 3-horse race, according to that number right there, although that changes a lot if Louisville beats Miami today. Clemson, they're going to go for it here. They line up to punt. Now they may be just trying to draw Virginia offside. This looks like exactly what they're trying to do, and it didn't work. Dabo calling a timeout.
Second charge timeout, Clemson. It will be 30
back
seconds.
To that,
Look at
those numbers.
Look at Tony Elliott. He looked across at Dabo and said, look, I see what you're trying to do there. Good job by Virginia's defense to hold their water. But, you look at that kind of 3-horse race, and SMU, that's the one where I don't know if anyone thought SMU was going to be in this position to start the year. They had their one loss of the year to BYU. They're going to be playing tonight at Stanford, where the ACC huddle crew is. And that Red Lashley team and the way that they can produce on offense. And
they made a change at quarterback with Jennings, right?
He's been dynamic. We got to call their bowl game last year at the end of the year versus Boston College, and they did not look as polished as they do now. A lot of transfers came in. This is their welcome to the ACC. They've had a great start to their season.
Right. I feel like if you're unbeaten, obviously you got a chance. If you have an and 1 in ACC play, you still got a chance. When you get that and 2, 3-2, 2-2, that's when it starts to get really difficult. So Clemson does punt it away. Good kick. Fair catch at the 20 by Ethan Davies. 49 yards on the punt.
You talk about the and 1 teams, right? Virginia is one of those and 1 teams in the ACC. Their only loss in ACC play was last week versus Louisville, only lost by 4 in that game. And they've had a couple of these comeback games versus ACC schools. First, they were down big versus Wake Forest. They came back in the 4th quarter of that game, second game of the year. And then Boston College, they won that game after coming back, and it was points off turnovers in that game. Boston College turned it over a bunch of times, 15 points off turnovers. Virginia already 7 points off turnovers in this one.
Oh, that was almost 6. Peter Woods. Check that. That was Barrett Carter off the edge. Yes, that fan says it all right there. All you got to do is squeeze it, and you're gone.
Yeah, and Barrett Carter comes off the left side of the offensive line. And, this is one of those ones where, Mikhail Boley is just shadowing him. Good job of getting your hands up. That would have been a pick 6 easily for Barrett Carter.
Scary start to this drive for Virginia. They'll get another opportunity here with Tyree trying to make the most of it, and he'll pick up a first down. Well, Virginia was 3 and out in their last 2 drives, so that 13-yard completion to Chris Tyree moves the sticks for the first time in a while for the Wahoos.
Yeah, that's the added element that Chris Tyree provides, that quick pass from the slot.
Virginia just having a really hard time running the football. Calandry is their leading rusher on the day. And Capehart and Carter prevent Kobe Pace from getting anything. Calandry now to throw. On target to Tyree again out of the slot. Barnes on coverage.
And again, Clemson's defense was not lined up. You see everybody looking towards the sideline as Calandry goes fast. They have got to get the play call in and get lined up faster.
Pace spins his way close to midfield. Still going. That's a hard run by Kobe Pace.
And This is a perfect example. You got 3rd down and 2, and none of the defensive linemen have their hands in the dirt when the ball is snapped.
Virginia still wants to go at pace. Calandria overshoots Tyree.
You know, there's a lot of good things that happen with this kind of coach to quarterback system with the helmets and being able to talk to your players. But one of the things that we've heard from defensive coordinators throughout this league is there's sometimes that delay, that issue of like, hey, we're going to look at the play, we're going to signal in, we're going to call in the play to our linebacker, and then the communication from the linebacker to the rest of the defense takes a little bit of time. Some teams have gone back to the hand signals on the defensive side.
Calandria has J.R. Wilson. Wilson needed to use all of his 6'4" frame that time to bring it in. Timeout, Virginia.
Virginia will be 30 seconds.
This will bring a big 3rd down here after this timeout. Just of note, Bettridge, their field goal kicker, is very accurate. Both these kickers on these teams are very accurate, but they haven't attempted long field goals all year. Bettridge's long is 47 yards. Hasn't even attempted a 50-yarder yet this season. Here you see the total yards in terms of what these two teams have done offensively. The big difference in this game, why Virginia is still in it, is because of the turnover, the interception. They were able to get points off of it. Now they're looking to get points at the end of this drive. There's Bettridge, hoping to get an opportunity. He's hoping for an extra point, not a field goal. Virginia's got to convert here, though, on 3rd down. Calandria to throw, he gets sacked. T.J. Parker got home.
Yeah, T.J. Parker coming off the top of your screen, working on Mikhail Boley. He just drives him all the way back, and it was inside pressure as well by Trey Williams.
Timeout. Clemson, 30 seconds.
It's just so hard to drop back and pass downfield against this defensive front for Clemson.
These defensive ends, T.J. Parker on one side, the sophomore from Phoenix City, Alabama. Peter Woods, also from Alabama, also a sophomore on the other side. Won 4 state titles. Thompson and Alabaster, Alabama in high school. They're best friends. Both leaders on this defense. Coach said these two are best friends. And they wreak havoc.
It's got to be fun, too. You know, I've always been a part of these defenses and linebacker rooms and defensive line rooms. There's a competition, right, to see who can get to the quarterback first or most. Or you know, you have a little chart in your meeting room, and you create your own reward system and your own fine system.
Dabo calling that timeout. He wants to at least make Sparks punt it. And Sparks got it off, and that's all he wanted to do. There's a scrum behind the play. That's what the crowd is reacting to, but no flags, no harm, no foul.
Dabo watched film last week of Sparks. Sparks had 2 punts where he kind of messed up the drop or the kick, and he hit it right into the back of his own players. And you see at the end of the play, a little physicality.
Now with 20 seconds left to go in the first half, scrimmaging from their own 23. And remember, Clemson deferred on the opening kickoff, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. I'd be shocked if this was anything more than a film off a run, and the snap almost got away from Klubnik. That was almost a disaster with 20 seconds to go in the half. Klubnik was able to stab it with his right hand, and then he also had the difficulty of trying to get the ball to Maffa's hands.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, take a sigh. Deep breath after that one. And Dabo and company will head to the locker room, up 7 here at the half. That's our score, 17-10. Several sacks.
Yeah, and the 7 points, the touchdown came off of the turnover, right? Points off turnovers is what helped Virginia.
We mentioned at the top of the show how dominant Clemson has been at home. 68-3 in the playoff era. Well, they've only lost once while having the lead at halftime, so it's not something they give up regularly. Haynes, 20, smacked there, but gets out to about the 22. Surprise, surprise, flag to start the second half. We had a lot of laundry on the field in that first half.
During the return, legal block in the back, receiving team number 47. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Coley Harvey standing by on the field.
Guys, at half, I caught up with Virginia head coach Tony Elliott, and he said with his defense coming out first, he wants his defense to set a tone. He said that means trusting your brother, trusting your coaching, and having a heart of a champion. That was his message at half. For Clemson, head coach Dabo Swinney told me that he bemoaned some of those missed opportunities that the Tigers had offensively. He was namely talking about those deep throws to tight end Jake Brenningstool that Mark was just referencing. And speaking of Brenningstool, I will say that just before halftime, I noticed him getting treatment inside the medical tent, went inside the locker room early, and when I asked Dabo Swinney if he had an update on Brenningstool, he said he didn't. So, guys, we're going to keep an eye on the tight end this half.
Yeah, we certainly will, and he'll make plays if he's in the game. Number 9 in orange, opting to go with number 7 in orange to start this second half. Maffa maybe gets a yard.
Yeah, and Olsen Pat Henry, the tight end, he's in place of Jake Brenningstool right now. So it's a good report by Coley. We're going to have to keep an eye out on that. And Olsen Pat Henry is more of that blocker. Tight end done a good job in 12 personnel. Now he's in there in 11.
Fake to Maffa. Klubnik has time, sets and throws over the middle. First down. It's TJ Moore, the freshman, on the receiving end.
Yeah, great job by Cade Klubnik. This is what we're talking about with the patience that Klubnik shows. He stands in there, goes through his read progressions, come back to the middle, and throws a strike across for the first down.
Now wanting to go quickly, Klubnik can run. If I'm going to quote Dabo this week, he said, the kid can fly. He just doesn't run very often, doesn't utilize his legs very often. He did on that play on first down.
Yeah, and I think he utilized his legs a little bit too often a year ago, right? He didn't feel that comfort level. He would get back in the pocket and pull it down a little bit too early. That was more of a designed QB draw off of the big play pass, but he is very effective running the football, just more picky of when he does it this year.
Stellato in motion to the slot on the top of the screen. Klubnik to throw. Again, he's got time. Overshoots Maffa, and Maffa would have had some room to run.
And we've seen Cade Klubnik, when he misses, he's missed high. And a lot of times it's been on some of these easier touch passes. This is easy. He doesn't have anyone really getting pressure on him. He just got to put that out there for his running back to catch. That should have been an easy completion. And that's, there's still times where Cade Klubnik is inaccurate, as we saw on that second down play.
It'll bring up 3rd and 6. Empty backfield. As a receiver downfield, Antonio Williams.
Oh, Antonio Williams just ran a nasty route on this play. He's lined up in the slot, the wing position. Ooh, he's working on Jonas Sanker and just broke his ankles. Good job by Cade Klubnik finding him with the football, but that was a dirty route by Antonio Williams.
Williams having a big day in the absence of both Tyler Brown and Brian Wesco, who are out. Maffa plows into a defender, falls forward. That defender was McDonald, but Maffa with a good pickup on first down of about 6 yards.
You get the big play on the outside to your speedy receiver, and then Old Reliable just coming downfield, laying the punishment against the linebackers, and that big play pass and the consistent run. That's when Clemson's at the best.
5 passes of over 20 yards in this game. That's the big play. Here's Maffa with a big play. Bounces it outside, down to the 26.
Good job of reading this from Maffa. Cutback lane. Cam Robinson gets pinned outside. Phil Maffa, great job of coming back and finding some good yardage to pick up a first down.
Maffa with 15 yards on this drive, as we have gone already inside of that 12-minute mark to start the second half. Klubnik wanted to throw it to the right side initially, now has room on the left to run inside the 20 before finally being chased out.
Well, Jake Brenningstool back in the game. This time he's on the short side of the field, and he's really the one who makes a key block on this scramble. You see him at the bottom of the screen, working against number 25, Terrell Jones, the defensive end. Good job of sticking on his block and allowing Cade Klubnik to get outside.
2nd down and 3. Virginia bringing a little bit of pressure. Klubnik can't escape. He does get it to Maffa, but he's in all kinds of trouble in the backfield, and he'll lose yardage. Flag on the play as well. Dangerous situation, but Maffa was able to corral the ball and try and make something of it.
Defense, number 15, line up in the neutral zone for the snap. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Chico Bennett, the guilty party. Maybe Klubnik knew something we didn't, that he had a free play.
Results in a first down.
Yeah, I don't know, that was a big miss for Chico Bennett, because Cam Butler on the top, you see on the bottom of the screen, that's Chico Bennett. That's close. But Cam Butler just beats the block by Phil Maffa, gets to the quarterback. Lucky that Chico Bennett was called offsides.
Results in a first down. Klubnik to throw. Brenningstool inside the 10. That's 6 yards. So Brenningstool back in the game after being in the medical tent briefly at the end of the first half. We said it in the first half. Dabo called him the most complete tight end, the best tight end he's ever had. He's had some good ones. Dwayne Allen, Davis Allen, Jordan Leggett, just to name a few of them. But Brenningstool is complete. Physicality, hands, route running, blocking, running after the catch. Maffa in the backfield, taken down for a loss. Jonas Sanker.
And Jonas Sanker, great job of timing up that pressure. He waited in that safety position until Klubnik made his check. You see him creep down towards the top of the screen. And that confused Olsen Pat Henry, the tight end, of, who is my end man on the line of scrimmage? Who am I going to block? Virginia has stood up in the red zone before against Clemson on the opening drive. Let's see if they can do it again.
Sanker with just the 2nd TFL of the game for this Virginia defense, but it was big. Now 3rd and 7. Klubnik to throw. Underneath. Maffa, no, check that. That's a touchdown. The tight end, Olsen Pat Henry. I think he heard you say he was more of a blocking tight end.
I think he did. He lines up in the wing position off the ball and kind of runs a little choice route out of the bunch set. You get Brenningstool going vertical, and then Pat Henry just sitting down underneath him. Breaks the tackle, and good job using his big body to get in the end zone. And what a drive by Clemson to start this second half. Worked all the way downfield. Another touchdown on the board.
Loser wraps up the 3rd drive of 11 plays in this game for Clemson, and another score puts them up 14. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified October 11th to the 20th as ACC Unity Week. Big crowd as always here in Death Valley, 24-10. Clemson has just extended their lead to 14 on that Olsen Pat Henry touchdown catch, his 2nd of the year. Gunn shoots this kick into the end zone and over the head of Noah Vaughn. So yet another, and I know we've said this a lot today, but this is another key drive for Virginia, now down 2 scores.
Yeah, and Anthony Calandria, he has been able to hit the underneath routes pretty effectively. This one long run, that was a big play, followed by the quick pass to the end zone. But Virginia has not been able to complete any balls downfield over 10 yards. Only 3 plays in the entire game that's been 10 yards or more, and they've all been rushes. And so when you think about how the Wahoos need to get back in this game, they have got to start hitting downfield, whether it's Malachi Fields or Chris Tyree.
Going to try the ground. Brown, well, that's a good start on first down. He's going to get about 9 yards. Khalil Barnes on the tackle. You got to change your protection schemes, don't you, though, if you want to have time to go downfield, because even though Clemson is only rushing forward, they're forcing Calandria out of the pocket almost immediately, right?
Yeah, they are. And I think that outside run helps set up the roll boots and the getting Calandria outside the pocket, but off of play action to hit some of the deep balls. It's been so difficult to actually have success off play action when you're faking handing the ball up the middle, because Clemson, the linebackers, they don't feel like they need to be threatened right away because they have so much confidence in the defensive line to stop that play. DeMonte Capehart down. Now their big defensive tackle. He's one of those reasons why teams can't run effectively up the middle.
Big is right, 6'5", 315. Dabo with him. Had a lot of praise for Capehart when we went with him this week. He said he was a lot like Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
But Dexter Lawrence had a much higher football IQ when he first got here.
Yes.
So he had to learn how to play the game.
Right, and DeMonte Capehart, he's a guy who was at Hartville High School, went to IMG Academy, and a ton of success in high school. And now he was a grad student, played behind a lot of those guys, Aruka Rororo and Tyler Davis. Absolutely physical specimen, able to dominate when he's on, and now they're going to have to do this play without him.
Calandria to throw pressure off the edge. They got him. Avion Terrell from his cornerback spot on the blitz.
Anthony Calandria, you see the huddle breaking. He's looking for someone. Wait. Let me kind of figure out what's going on. They get lined up eventually, but Clemson's answer was A.J. Terrell. Look, they're in a condensed situation. We're going to just send our corner off the edge, and no one there to block Calandria. Block for Calandria, excuse me.
Second sack of the game, and a second and short is suddenly a third and long, and Clemson's threatening to bring even more, and they do. A lot of pressure. Calandria gets it out to a receiver. Going to be shy of the first down, though. Terrell, after making the sack, in coverage on Green and forces him out of bounds. Fourth down.
And you see Avion Terrell, he knows the situation, right? He knows, okay, I can let this guy catch the ball in front of me. Let me get in a good position to make a tackle, short of the line to gain. A.J. Terrell, his older brother in the NFL now, and talking with Dabo Swinney, he was kind of joking. He said, hey, we recruited A.J. to get Avion eventually. Young guy, came around here when he was back in middle school, but knew he was going to be a great player, and he is.
AJ recently signing a big $81 million deal with the Falcons. Big few days for the Terrell family. Clemson with the ball back, up 14.
Gator.
Some of the images my partner here sees in his nightmares from his playing days. Mark Kurtzlick spent more than a couple of nights chasing this guy around the field when Kurtzlick was a linebacker at Boston College, and C.J. Spiller became a great tailback at Clemson.
Yeah, he is the most dynamic, the most explosive player that I've played against my entire college career. And we saw earlier today, C.J. Spiller went up in the Ring of Honor, his number up there on the wall, right next to Danny Ford's, and the emotion on the field, and well-deserved. I mean, Dabo Swinney talks about even the recruitment of C.J. Spiller was really the first time that Clemson dabbled in the lane of getting five-star recruits.
Klubnik on first down does a great job of just throwing this one away as the pressure got to him.
And when Dabo Swinney was an assistant, before he became head coach, and he was a part of the recruiting process for C.J. Spiller, and a lot of the coaching staff for Clemson just kind of had him off the board, right? You're from Florida. You're not in our 4-hour circle. We're not going to be able to get this 5-star guy. And Dabo Swinney said, look, why not? We can get him. Let me go and try. And that was the first 5-star first-round player that Dabo Swinney brought in, and that really changed the trajectory of Clemson's future. You can really pinpoint the moment, and it really all starts with C.J. Spiller. Now he's up on the wall forever where he should be.
A couple of great plays by Ben Smiley, defensive end for Virginia, to start this drive, and it's set Clemson behind the chains a bit here, 3rd and 9.
Yeah, defensive line for Virginia, whether it's Chico Bennett or Ben Smiley, they have been productive.
Sends Brittingstool in motion. Virginia brings 4, so Klubnik has time. Finds Brittingstool. Looked like Maffa looked like he wanted to go up for it and thought, no, I got Brittingstool behind me, I'll let it go. 13 yards, first down.
It looked like another overthrow from Cade Klubnik as he rolls out, and Ben Smiley again bringing pressure. You see the ball travels right over Maffa's head.
Stellato almost had a huge play there. Shoestring tackle prevented it from being more than just 9 yards. Stellato shaking up a little bit on the play. Will come over and get looked at. Receiving core already without Tyler Brown and Bryant Wesco. Hoping Brown can come back after the off date, which is next week. Maffa lowers his shoulder, moves the pile for a first down. Wesco's missed today and last week. Again, hoping to have him back after this off date. Because they have Louisville right here on this field afterward. Louisville's embroiled in a huge one right now against Miami at home. But you know this game, Clemson and Louisville, in a couple of weeks is going to have big implications right here on this field. Clemson's got to get by Virginia first. Up 14 and moving once again. Klubnik's going to run it. Gets hit hard, but picks up about 5. Anthony Britton on the stop. Play before that run was Clemson's 20th first down in the game, more than doubling up Virginia.
There's times you don't even see teams with 23rd downs or 21st downs. It's been efficient for Cade Klubnik in this offense.
Klubnik fakes it here, try to get it to the burner. Instead, he just throws this one away. That's going to be
intentional grounding,
or it could be roughing.
Or roughing.
The flags where he threw the ball. He was still in the tackle box and no receiver in the area.
There are 2 fouls in play, one by each team. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 10, intentional grounding. Offense, number 2, this foul's offset, still second down.
They were both fouls.
Yeah, and he was in the tackle box, and when you extend this line directly back, I mean, he stays in that the whole time.
They wanted to get it to Cole Turner at the bottom of your screen, but he was double covered, bracketed really well. And then you see the push on the end. Let's get a look at that roughing the passer maybe. Let's see it after this play. Basically just a do-over on second down. Williams. Oh, look at that move. And he's in the clear. He'll score. The 2 biggest plays of the afternoon. Williams on a pass play earlier, now on a 36-yard jaunt.
I mean, he can do so much, and we've seen him lined up on the outside. We've seen him line up in the slot. This time he just lines up in a wing position, almost where a tight end would, and takes the handoff on the jet sweep. Just really good job by the blockers on the outside, and his speed too much for the safety to get there in time. And see Tony Elliott looking on as Clemson scores another one.
Hoosier with another PAT. Home team pouring it on a beautiful afternoon in Clemson, South Carolina. Antonio Williams, coach calls him his best football player, showing it on that play. Well, Tony Elliott's in his third season as the head football coach at the University of Virginia, but long before, he was a wide receiver and a team captain for the Clemson Tigers. Here in action back in the day, and of course he was a longtime assistant on Dabo Swinney's staff as a running backs coach, a tight ends coach, offensive coordinator as well. 11 years as a coach. And now making his homecoming today. Had to be an emotional week, an emotional day. And is hoping for a better outcome than we're seeing right now, but it's 31-10. His team has got to make something happen on the offensive end, or this game's going to get away from him quickly. Just outside the stadium here at Death Valley, you got all the co-captains, captains, and various teams over the years, and Tony Elliott's plaque back in 2003 when he was one of the captains on this Clemson team. There you see some of the things we were talking about. So close with Dabo for so many reasons, the two of them. And so you know it had to be an emotional time for him to come back, but he's focused on leading this team to a win, and it's been tough sledding offensively. But Brown's going to get a little room here on the outside. About 9 yards on first down. Coley, what's going on?
You guys are talking about Tony Elliott, the Virginia head coach, and when I talked to him earlier this week, he said that when he got to Virginia 3 years ago, he felt like he was moving too fast. He said that he was so used to what it took to build a championship program being here at Clemson so long that he kind of forgot that people in Charlottesville didn't quite yet know that same process, so he had to slow him down, build with patience, just like he did when he first started coaching here at Clemson, and he said that that has helped him grow as a coach and as a man.
A 3-7 season in his first season, 3-9 last year, and this year obviously a much better start at 4-2 and 2-1 in conference play, but hoping to avoid a modest 2-game losing streak this afternoon after falling in a close game last weekend at home to Louisville. Calandria wants to go quickly now after a first down. Out of the backfield, that's pace. Eludes a tackler inside the 40. Gets out just about the 34-yard line of Clemson. So,
and Clemson, again, not lined up. I mean, they have not gotten the play communicated across the board, and none of the linebackers go to the flat with Kobe Pace. I mean, that is really the only time that Virginia has had success on offense is when they've caught Clemson not ready to play football.
Just about all their explosive plays. That one 25 yards. Calandria in trouble here. Gets out of it somehow. Now he's going to try and hit his receiver on the sideline, and it's incomplete. How did Calandria escape that carnage in the backfield? Cade Denhoff was just that close to picking up the third sack of the day for this Clemson defense.
Well, he almost got sacked 3 times in this one. And watch the wide receivers. They stop working. They stop working for their quarterback. I mean, there's only one guy trying to run the scramble drill for Calandria. You have got to continue to run your routes and get friendly to the quarterback if you want to come back and win this football game.
Incomplete pass on that first down. Not the worst thing that could happen to Virginia, but look at Calandria here. Now he loses the ball, and Clemson picks it up. Trey Williams picked up the loose ball, and it's a big turnover for the Tigers near midfield.
Well, you get another play where Clemson defensively is barely lined up, and Woodaz comes off the edge, just beats the block by the running back, and I can't tell whether the ball gets tipped or just falls out the back of Calandria's hands. And Trey Williams is there to pick it up, but you know, right when you say that's not the worst thing that can happen.
That was the worst thing that could happen on second.
Let me show you an example of what is the worst thing that could happen for Virginia's offense.
The best thing that could have happened for us, you see the way that ball bounced right into Trey Williams' hands. If he could have kept his feet, I wanted to see him rumbling down the field for a score, but still for Clemson, this is big to get the turnover. Now the ball's on the carpet again. Clemson may have fallen back on top of it.
He did. I think it was Harris Sewell.
It was. Moore with the fumble, and Sewell, center, was there to pick it up. Chico Bennett looked like he was the one who knocked it away initially from TJ Moore. So Clemson fortunate to fall on it. Fake to Haynes. Klubnik quickly out. Too low. Falls incomplete. Trying to get it to Adam Randall.
I don't know whether it's something with the RPO type read where he gets that ball out in the running back's chest and then pulls it back. But there's a few times coming off of that run action where Cade Klubnik has not gotten his feet set where he can deliver a catchable football to his wide receivers.
See Clemson very good on third down today, 7 of 9, and they've converted their last 4. Now they bring Haynes back into the backfield. Klubnik looking his way. Swings it out to him. Gets it close to that first down. He's going to be a little shy. Kendron Smith tracked him down, but I gotta think in this situation, in this part of the field, they're going to go for it. And it looks like they will.
Yeah, and I'd bring in Phil Maffa for Jay Haynes in this situation. Get number 7 in the game.
And they do just that. Fake to him. They're going to throw it wide open. Picked up by the tight end, Pat Henry, and he'll score easily. What a day for Olsen. Pat Henry, his second touchdown. This one 40 yards in length.
And Olsen Pat Henry just leaks out. No one covers him. The entire defense get lost with their eyes in the backfield, and he just leaks out with no one responsible for him. Everyone sells out for the run, and couple options for Cade Klubnik to hit his wide open targets. Olsen Pat Henry scoops it off the ground and brings it in for 6.
3 straight drives ending in touchdowns for the Clemson Tigers. They have blown this game wide open. Don't forget our Week 8 ACC Network football lineup continues this afternoon. NC State squaring off against Cal. And we'll recap, or cap the night, I should say, with SMU on the West Coast taking on Stanford, 8 o'clock Eastern. See both those games not only on the ACC Network, but also on the ESPN app. Well, the sophomore from Naples, Florida, I feel like he's making a little bit of a statement to us today to say, let's add maybe my name to that long list of great tight ends that Dabo has had here at Clemson. I'm next.
It goes to show, too, how Garrett Riley, kind of the air raid lineage of his history, how he incorporates tight ends into this game, right into the running game and the passing game, kind of a deviation from that Mike Leach, Hal Mummy coaching tree.
Long and extensive coaching tree that you mentioned. Garrett Riley, having played at Texas Tech under Mike Leach, won the Broyles Award as the offensive coordinator at TCU back in 2022 before coming here and joining Dabo a couple of years ago. Calandria. Good catch by Neville. Look at what Virginia has done. I should say Clemson got a flag. This one came in late again. Man, we've seen a lot of not only flags, but a lot of late flags today.
So offensive defensive line battle is getting aggressive.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 15. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down. Number 52 may remain in the game as his helmet was removed as a result of the penalty.
And that's Jaheim Lawson.
This was really kind of a back and forth one. Jaheim Lawson was going against Mikhail Boley.
And you see what Virginia has done in their last 5 drives. Those are all since that interception led to a quick 7 points. This has not worked out very well for Virginia offensively. This Clemson defense has really stepped up.
You look at the time of possession there, too. No drives over 3 minutes. This is still a fresh Clemson defense.
Now that 15-yard penalty gives him a little bit of relief at midfield. Calandria has all kinds of room here. Sidesteps the defender. Ultimately gets about 7 yards. DeMonte Capehart in the tackle. Good to see 19 and orange back in there after he was shaken up.
Oh, you cannot feel good to get landed on by DeMonte Capehart. Watch how Calandria jumps back.
Oof.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's a 320-pound guy landing directly on top of you.
On a 180-pound quarterback who he like leapt into his arms.
Yeah.
Pace. And the former Clemson Tiger just a little bit shy of picking up the first down. Barrett Carter on the tackle. Virginia wants to go quickly. Will they get another snap off before the end of the third quarter? They do. They're not going to get much out of it. We'll have to see where they mark it. As the clock is going to wind down, we may have to wait until we get to the other side of this break before we find out. 3 quarters in the books here in Death Valley. All Clemson heading to the fourth. Ranked Clemson really took control of this game in the second half. It was a 7-point contest at the break, but it's really been all Tigers, especially defensively. Virginia hasn't been able to get anything going since that first half, but maybe this is a little bit of a change. They did pick up a first down on that final play of the third quarter, so now in Clemson territory and a fresh set of downs. Calandria fakes it to Pace. He stays in the block, going up top. Has Malachi Fields. He'll catch it and score.
Well, that's the first step. How about that play by Anthony Calandria? They have not been able to complete any downfield this game to Malachi Fields. This time, Malachi Fields, the lineup in more of a bunch set. He's towards the top, becomes in the slot after the tight end motion, and he's working on Barrett Carter, the linebacker. That's a mismatch. And Anthony Calandria finds him. This Virginia team, they have had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks so far this year against Wake Forest and Boston College. They know how to score points in the fourth quarter, and that's a way to try to start this comeback.
44 yards, Calandria to Fields. It's the first big explosive really all day for Virginia. Women's sports, they take over every Sunday on the ACC network. We're going to start at noon tomorrow with a soccer doubleheader. 25 Cal against Louisville, then number 25 Notre Dame against number 6 Stanford. We're going to cap off today with volleyball, Duke and Virginia Tech at 4 o'clock Eastern. ACC women's volleyball is outstanding. One of, if not the best conferences in the country. So in one play, Virginia, tough to say they've gotten themselves back into the game just yet, but they've given themselves an opportunity to get themselves back into the game.
There you go. So you're saying there's a chance.
I won't say more like 1 in a million.
Yeah, what's all this 1 in a million stuff?
Maybe a little bit better than that.
Oh, man.
But first things first was to get that big explosive on offense. Now what they've got to do is they've got to find a way to stop Klubnik and Maffa in this Clemson offense.
Yeah, and the way they have gotten back in games in the fourth quarter is forcing turnovers and creating points off turnovers. There's also the belief in this Virginia Cavalier team that they can do it, right? They're not entering into this fourth quarter against Clemson saying, oh, man, yeah, we don't know how to come back. They do. That was the first step in the right direction.
So you got Jay Haynes in the game. It's redshirt freshman tailback. Takes the handoff. Brought down after gain of about just a yard. Coley, what's going on down on the field?
Well, Mark was just mentioning the belief that's on this Virginia sideline. I can actually co-sign that. I was just walking through and heard Virginia running back Kobe Pace saying, hey, keep swinging, keep chipping away. That was his comment to each and every player on the offensive side of the ball for his team. And echoes a lot of what we heard Dabo Swinney saying to his team in the first half.
Yeah, good start for this defense, too. Just a 1-yard gain on first down from Jay Haynes. Again, they give to Haynes. Sanker on the tackle as those two just met up. Irresistible force of the immovable object, 6 yards for Haynes.
The hole opens up on the left side, but Jonas Sanker just comes and fills it. Still a pretty good gain for Jay Haynes, the redshirt freshman running back. But brings up a 3rd down.
Klubnik to throw. Looking to Haynes. He wasn't open. Now he's being pressured. Tucks it and runs with it, though. 1st down and more.
This is one of the issues with the fire zone type pressures that John Radzicki wants to do. You see the defensive end on the right side. That's Ben Smiley dropping off in coverage, and he has quarterback contain when contain is needed. Cade Klubnik just too fast for the defensive end to catch him.
Pitch to Haynes, flag down. Haynes gets banged out of bounds by Sanker, just inside of Virginia territory, but let's check the marker. I don't think the Clemson coaches are all that happy.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 players were both in motion and not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And Adam Randall, the wide receiver, was walking around. See him on the bottom of the screen. He's moving a little bit as Josh Sapp, the tight end, is also coming over. Need to have a full second of both players set before you can snap the ball. Good call by the officials.
Really working this running game in the middle of this field right now. Testing the center of that Virginia defense. Even after the penalty, picked up about 4. 2nd down and 11. They really like Haynes. Played a little bit last year before getting hurt. The redshirt freshman out of Roanoke, Alabama.
There's a big play here on 2nd down. If they can get Clemson in 3rd and long situations, have a chance to get the ball back with pretty good field position.
Now Klubnik to throw. Over the middle. Incomplete. Pass was low. Coverage was outstanding. Looked like 29, Kempton Shine. Eastern Michigan transfer. Veteran, made 40 starts for Eastern Michigan before transferring to Virginia in the offseason. So 3rd and 11.
And Ben Smiley and Terrell Jones, the 2 rush ends, come into the game, as Virginia will have 4 defensive ends as their defensive linemen. Look for twist games up front, trying to get some pressure on Klubnik on this 3rd and long.
Clemson 8 of 11 on 3rd down. Klubnik gets rid of it. 1st down. Stellato got hammered. Got him before he got to the 1st down marker. That was Trey McDonald. Stellato made the catch. Looked like he was going to get there, and then Trey McDonald lowered the boom, so it's 4th and 2.
Man, Trey McDonald in for James Jackson. Watch number 8, bam, and then Jonas Sanker hits him high. Good clean hits by this defense. And on 3rd and 1, you see Peter Woods, the defensive end, check in the football game. You also got Capehart, DeMonte Capehart in the game, defensive tackle. This is their short yardage package.
Timeout by Clemson to talk it over. 4th down when we come back. Tigers up 21, facing a 4th down and 1 near midfield. They're going to go for it here. And before we had that timeout by Dabo, they brought in the big fellas, didn't they? A couple of defensive linemen, a couple of 300-pounders. Let's see if they've got it today. Look at the fullback here, Mark.
Yeah, go hand it to Peter Woods. See if he can pick it up himself.
They use Woods as the lead blocker. Maffa, no problem.
Peter Woods just coming through the line of scrimmage. He absolutely flattened.
And now we've got all kinds of flags, and some people are unhappy about what they just saw.
Ooh.
This got nasty in a hurry. Coaches are out there trying to keep these teams separated. Ben Smiley is hot. And Ben Smiley and Tony Elliott are. Elliott just wants to settle his defensive end down, I think, at this point. Yeah, you can see Elliott. I know, I get it, I got you, but you got to settle down right now. Keeping him from going back onto the field.
After the play was over. Flagrant personal foul. Defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty added to the play. Automatic, first down. Number 10.
Smiley is still just beside himself.
And you hear the flagrant personal foul. He is now ejected from the game, and he is obviously has lost his cool in this one. And you see, first of all, great block by Peter Woods, flattening the safety. And you see in that scrum towards the 45-yard line, that's where Ben Smiley is number 10 on the ground. And he gator tackles the offensive lineman, Tristan Lee. And then you see sometimes the emotions get the best of you. Ben Smiley has been a good player for them for a long time, and a grad student, just couldn't control it.
First down plus 15 yards. Clemson back in business. Haynes wiggles his way for about 6. Give him 7 yards.
Chico Bennett almost made another big play in the backfield.
Just a split second too late, huh? I love the way Garrett Riley described Jay Haynes. Says he gets small in the hole. Sort of the yin to Moffa's yang at 195 pounds.
Yeah, really the other two guys, Phil Moffa and Keith Adams, they're kind of the bigger downhill guys, over 220 pounds. Jay Haynes is kind of more of the scat back.
He's got it again here. He needed to get even smaller in the hole that time. Had absolutely no room to run. Picks up a yard.
This Virginia defense, they got to settle down a little bit after that 4th and 1 play, and then Ben Smiley kind of losing his cool. This defense, they have a big chance right here on 3rd down to hold Clemson to a field goal, and if they want any chance of coming back in this game, it has to be done right here.
Clemson on yet another 10-plus play drive. First down and more. Jay Haynes finally knocked down at the 7. 1st and goal after a 9-yard carry.
They want to get Jay Haynes more involved in this offense, and what better way than to have a big lead and be able to hand him the ball in critical moments. You know, critical 3rd down and 3 earlier in the drive, and they're continuing to let Jay Haynes play in this situation.
Klubnik rolls the pocket. Going to the second level. Just a little bit out of the reach of his receiver.
And Josh Sapp starting that tight end position on the left side, gets leverage. Klubnik just not able to get the ball out in front enough.
I think he lost it.
I think he lost
right
it too.
Into the sun. He's looking right into the sun from that corner. I don't even think he saw it coming. Haynes tries to cut it back inside. Picks up maybe 2, so 3rd and 5. Another opportunity for this Virginia defense to get off the field here and give up just 3. This is also taking a lot of clock off this drive. Longest drive in terms of number of plays of the day for Clemson. Michael Tiata limping off the field for Virginia.
And 3rd down, they bring Brenningstool and Stellato back in the game.
It's 9 and 10 respectively for the Tigers. Then you got the big fella Adam Randall down here at the bottom.
So you have kind of your 3 top targets over to the left side of the screen with Brenningstool, Williams, and Stellato. Looks like a one-on-one opportunity for Randall at the bottom.
Now Williams comes in motion to join him. Klubnik to throw. Looking that way. Tries to go to the corner. Just couldn't quite get it to Randall, who was covered really well by Kempton Shine on the play. Klubnik disappointed, but it'll lead to another field goal attempt from Nolan Hooser. Already connected from 29 yards earlier, this one from 22. Clay Sweeney on the hold, and Holden Kaspersen, the all-ACC long snapper, with the perfect snap, perfect hold, perfect kick. 41-17, Clemson on top.
They're building something down there in the Dallas area, man.
Touchdown, Stanford. They keep on coming.
ACC Primetime Football. Number 21, SMU at Stanford. Tonight at 8 Eastern on ACCN.
Primetime game tonight on the ACC Network at Stanford. SMU, one of those teams unbeaten and won in conference. We talked about it earlier. All these teams still alive to get to the ACC championship game. Certainly if you have a -0 on the end of your ACC record, that's a lot better. And that's where SMU stands right now. What do you think of the schedule coming up here?
You know, Pittsburgh's had a phenomenal year, and so that's going to be a tough one. And then, you got to face Cal at home, which is nice, but these are winnable games for SMU going forward. Duke obviously had a big one against Florida State. They had never beat Florida State before. They did last night. So, I mean, there's competition coming up for SMU, but they do have the ability to win all those games.
If you looked at their remaining schedule compared to some of the other teams, like a Pitt, for example, SMU really gets the nod in terms of the most manageable of all those schedules. Got to start tonight, though, after a long road trip. Not as long for them as for some AC schools, but still got to go out to the Bay Area to take on the Stanford Cardinal.
Yeah, we look at Clemson going forward. Really, they just have 3 ACC games left. It's Louisville, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. And they'll finish the season with the Citadel and South Carolina, which none of those matter for the ACC championship standing. So with a win today against Virginia, they have 3 more times that they can get wins, and then the last 2 weeks of the season are going to be kind of for the ranking, right? The ranking position, because you don't have to win the ACC championship game anymore to go to the playoffs. You can be one of those top 12 teams, and they probably will be if they win out and then end up losing to a Miami or someone in the championship game.
Yeah, you saw all those undefeated and one-loss teams. Calandria is going to be sacked again. Coming in untouched, the freshman, Sammy Brown.
Sammy Brown, one of the top recruits of this past class out of Commerce, Georgia. He won the high school butt kiss award. And he has not played a ton for Clemson, but when he's been in, I mean, I don't know whether they're schematically just teeing up sacks for him or TFLs, but he has found his way to get plenty of them.
Look at that speed. He was shot out of a cannon into the backfield and untouched. Tyree, talk about speed, can't stay in bounds, but at least gets a chunk of those yards back.
And Sammy Brown, that's his 3rd sack of the year. He has 6.5 TFLs and he with limited playing time, right? You haven't seen him until now. The game's out of hand in the 4th quarter, but he's a guy that the coaches talk about. Wes Goodwin specifically talked about his knowledge of the game, and just his dad's a coach. He's one of those guys who came in and really understood football like a vet does. And he's getting some really good playing experience as Clemson has had a couple blowouts so far this year.
3rd and long. Clemson brings 5, but it's picked up. Trying again to go up top was Calandria. This time Andre Green, the intended receiver. But good coverage from Jane Lucas, and that's going to force a punt.
Jane Lucas, good job, good eyes. Forcing the wide receiver out to the sideline, and you just know where to throw the football.
That's textbook to me.
It is. I mean, it's just great feed and not threatened by the speed. Feels very comfortable with where he was in position.
Turns and finds the ball. Clemson having a little issue with personnel. Gets the 12th man off. Sparks with another good kick. Williams is going to catch it at his 22. Tigers back with the ball and the big lead here in the fourth. Taylor Tannenbaum and the ACC Huddle crew going to be back with highlights and breakdowns of the early games at 6:30 tonight on the ACC Network. Getting you set for SMU and Stanford at 8, and then after that game, a full recap of the entire day, including this game involving Clemson and Virginia. New quarterback, Christopher Vizina. That's going to be the end of the day for Cade Klubnik. He, Maffa, and Williams, the three-headed monster on this offense for Clemson. All solid days.
Yeah, all good days. And Cade Klubnik with the one mistake, the interception he threw, just really didn't even see Cam Robinson, the linebacker, but see the consistency. No one really had the wow game. No one had the big stat game, but Cade Klubnik spread the football around to his different wide receivers. Good day for him.
Good look at Vizina. Freshman out of Birmingham.
Hey, the one thing that, talking to Dabo Sweeney and Garrett Riley after this game, I'm sure what they're going to talk about is some of those missed play opportunities. The Jake Brenningstool getting back down behind the defense for Virginia a couple times, not being able to find him. And those are things you can learn from much better when you have a lead like this, and all direction looks like they're going to win this game, and you can teach your quarterback off that. But that's 2 weeks in a row where they've had Jake Brenningstool behind the defense. They haven't been able to find him with the football.
Pass over the middle, complete. Will only net a couple of yards, and it'll bring up fourth down. Myson Kelly on the catch. So some Clemson players getting some time. Kelly, the true freshman out of Central South Carolina. Coach had a lot of great things to say about not only the freshman Moore and Westco, but he said Noble Johnson and Myson Kelly are outstanding too. They just can't find their way onto the field because they have so many good receivers. Plenty of time for those young men, though. Virginia almost got to the punter. Instead, Davies calls for the fair catch. Wow, who's with the ball? Just under 5 minutes left to go. Here's what's going on around the rest of the ACC. That big one in Louisville is as wild as you thought it might be. 38 all in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's the way Miami plays, isn't it? They're going to have games like that every single week, no matter who they're playing.
They're close. Lots of close games. And Xavier Restrepo scores a touchdown at the beginning of the third quarter. Then Cullen Lacey returns the kickoff.
100 yards.
For 100 yards and a touchdown. They have traded touchdowns in that third quarter. Now they're right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's going to be a good game. And a lot of implications for Clemson off that game.
Let me tip my cap to Bashal Tootin in Virginia Tech the other night, too. Tootin had 266 yards rushing in a dominant performance. You and I will be in Blacksburg next week. Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. That'll be a big one. Tony Muskett in the game now for Virginia. Noah Vaughn in a tailback as well. Muskett to throw. This is receiver Tyree on the far side. Out of bounds. Check that. That's Sedarian Harrison. Checks into the game. Good to see Sedarian Harrison. He's been banged up these last couple of weeks. 21 yards. Just his second catch of the year. He lowered the boom on the defender that time. Lyric Coleman. Both these teams now getting some playing time. Muskett confident, comfortable in the pocket, finding Harrison again. Let's not forget that Calandria beat out Muskett at the very end of summer practices. I mean, this one went right up practically until the first game of the year.
Yeah, and that's this year. And last year, Tony Muskett started the season as the starter, and then he gets injured. Calandria comes in as a true freshman and really doesn't give up the job, but Tony Muskett continued to work, and as you said, this year still a competition ensued during camp.
Muskett looking to throw. Just a little bit too high that time for Jaden Gibson. Muskett, the senior from Springfield, Virginia. Originally started his college career at Monmouth before making his way to the University of Virginia. Probably describe him as a little bit more of a pocket passer than Calandria, but not a true pocket passer, as he can hurt you with his legs as well. Pressure off the edge. Does a nice job of getting it to Vaughn, his running back, inside the 15. Pushed out of bounds at the 12.
You get some backup linebackers in here just with poor eyes. Got to be able to find that running back. Good job of getting it out in the swing pass for a big gain. For those that are interested, Miami just scored another touchdown. Now they're going up 45-38 on Louisville.
That's going to change. Kobe Pace picking up another couple of yards here in his return to Clemson. It's going to end in disappointing fashion for he and his Cavalier teammates. They've got North Carolina at home next week. Virginia's going to get to the end zone and score here. Sackett Wood with the touchdown.
Really on the field is a touchdown for Virginia.
Sackett's just the second catch of the entire year when he gets into the end zone. Let's go for Dos, brought to you by Dos Equis, as Virginia wants to put 2 more points on the board. Good situational work here for Tony Elliott and his staff. Some of the younger players, some of the backup players, marching the ball right down the field and then going for 2.
Got to be a bad feeling, though. I mean, I know as a player, it's just a hard feeling when you know the game's out of reach. And yeah, you're happy for these guys to be playing, but you're sitting there on the sideline as a coach, just you're thinking, hey man, what could we have done if we capitalize on this opportunity, or what happens if we got the ball here? Good conversion here as they go for Dos, but still, it's kind of this bittersweet time of the game where you're having a little bit of success, but you realize, look, this was not what we came down here to do. We understand Clemson's a very good football team, but Virginia only being 4-2 and only 1 loss in the ACC. I mean, this is, as you said, once you get that second loss in ACC play, it makes it very difficult to find your way in the championship game.
So Tony Muskett leads the Cavaliers to points here in the waning moments. Yeah, this time is not for as much for guys like Sackett Wood and Kobe Pace, graduate students. It's more for the younger players, the Sedarian Harrisons, the Jaden Gibsons, the Noah Vaughns, the sophomores.
Or Sammy Brown, right on the other side of the ball, where you're getting some of these young freshmen defenders in there. They understand, okay, this is what it feels like to be scored on, right? This is what it feels like to let someone else have success against us, and you can build up that stamina.
And Clemson calls a timeout right here. They're working on,
It'll be 30 seconds.
I think they're going to work on onside kick defense. It looked like that's what they were going to do, more situational work.
Yeah, no reason to keep the timeouts, but what you don't want to do, right? You don't want to start a snowball effect, right? There's only 2 minutes left in the game. You're not going to lose this one. But what you don't want to have happen is when your starters come out, now all of a sudden it's like an avalanche of a touchdown, and then the other team recovers an onside kick, and you want to be good in your efforts here, and I wouldn't be surprised if you get more of the starters back on this hands team for Clemson, as you see, Brenningstool and Williams come out, and
they got Maffa deep. He's the only one that's even more than 10 yards beyond that 45. Yeah, Clemson figures there's going to be a time when we're only up 7 with 2:11 to go.
Yep.
And we got to work on this. Sparks trying to get the big bounce, and he does. but Clemson is able to fall on it and retain possession. Ronan Hannafin, it looked like, was able to fall on it, defensive back. Good kick by Sparks. That last bounce just rode up the Clemson receiver. Watch this last one, just whoop, right up against the face mask.
Yeah, that's what you know, if you're the frontline guy, and Olsen Pat Henry was that guy, and that ball's coming right at you fast, you're told to get out of the way, right? You know, let the guy behind you who's supposed to be there to catch the football make that catch. Got lucky on that one.
You played a lot of special teams with the Giants. Were you on Hans' team?
Yep, I was on Hans' team. I was on the onside kick team, and I was always that frontline guy. And your biggest thing is don't get hit by the football.
Keith Adams, the hammerhead, as they call him, on the carry, picks up 4. We're at the 2-minute timeout. All Clemson here in Death Valley. Yeah, week 8 rolls along here on the ACC Network. Got NC State and Cal coming up next. Then that big one we told you about out at Stanford, number 21 SMU, trying to remain unbeaten in league play at 8 o'clock Eastern. Both games not only here on the ACC Network, but also streaming live on the ESPN app. Fake to Adams. Klubnik still in the game and looking for more, and he's got it. That's TJ Moore, the freshman. That's perplexing.
Hey, you know Dabo Swinney, he never just tries to just run out the clock. Here he goes for the big one. TJ Moore.
I guess, but with his good friend on the other sideline and your starters in the game.
That's Dabo Swinney. He's doing it with a smile, I'm sure.
Well, Klubnik just added to what was already a pretty good day. And the freshman TJ Moore's 3rd touchdown catch of the year.
Here at the bottom of the screen, just a little Zin motion and one-on-one matchup. I mean, you get one of your top wide receivers working against the true freshman Ethan Minter. And it's just a mismatch with a free safety trying to cover TJ Moore. Cade Klubnik sees it and adds more points. Take a 23-point lead.
That play was very important for some people out there.
Yep, I was about to say. If you don't know what we mean, then that's fine.
And with 1:54 left to go, Tony Elliott will send his offense back out on the field. Last time out, backup quarterback Tony Muskett led a very fruitful drive downfield for the score. And it looks like we're going to get number 7 in white again. Muskett back at the helm. Muskett to throw, has time. That's if we're going to bring a flag.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. That rule the ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Ashton Hampton, guilty party. There's a look at Hampton. True freshman out of Tallahassee.
His dad Alonzo. He's the head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff. He has a background of football in his family.
A lot of that here at Clemson, isn't there? lot of younger brothers that played where their older brothers played here. A lot of kids whose dads are coaches. Musket has a receiver wide open. Davies makes the catch. He'll score.
Well, how about that? It's a shootout in the fourth quarter. This is going to be a very high-scoring game.
That 65-yard pitch and catch was also important to a different set of people.
Yeah, the corner just bites on the double move. And Musket puts it out there.
Virginia's gonna go for Dose.
It's the dosing time they've done that.
I knew you were gonna do it. I was silently warning you not to. Musket wants to run. Now he's a little jump pass and too much traffic in the middle. Both of these offenses were keeping it close to the vest really all game long. Very few explosive plays, and then in the last 5 minutes, we've had a number of them. Brandon Strozier looks like he's getting looked after.
And again, for Strozier, another true freshman, or excuse me, redshirt freshman out of Lovejoy, Georgia. And again, you know, he knows what it feels like to get beat on a double move, right? You mess one of those up in a game and you see it on film, you say, hey, I'm never going to get beat on the slant and go again.
Another onside kick. This time, that's exactly how Clemson would draw it up with the hands team. Olsen Pat Henry continues his wonderful day here in the sun. Take a look at who Clemson has coming up. Got an off week. And then what promises to be a big one here. I don't know what the outcome of that Louisville-Miami game is just yet, but they're in a barn burner right now. 45-38, Miami's on top. At Virginia Tech, not easy. At Pitt, they're unbeaten right now. Several tests still on the board, and let's not forget about South Carolina. Gamecocks to end the year. That one is always a big clash when these two teams get together. Battle for the Palmetto State. Adams, that's why they call him the Hammerhead. Klubnik's still in the game. Clemson is clearly interested in running out the remaining minute plus in this contest. Gonna let this play clock wind all the way down before Klubnik takes one more snap. It's on Adams. And another flag comes. Adams and McDonald met in the hole. That was a big collision. These officials still talking this over.
After the play was over, sportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 74, his first of the game. 15-yard penalty. This includes a 10-second subtraction. Please reset the game clock to 44 seconds. Game clock will start on my signal.
Call goes against Marcus Tate, starting left guard. I don't know. It's an interesting last couple of minutes with all starters in the game. And the game completely. Now, finally, we get the victory formation.
fake knee deep shot here?
I mean, Klubnik is still in the game. And Clemson does not have to snap it. And they won't. Two friends, Dabo and Tony Elliott, meet at midfield, share an embrace in a moment. And Tony Elliott's return to Clemson. (48-31) our final score. Clemson Tigers have won for the 6th straight game, going all the way back to their season opening loss to Georgia, and they remain perfect in ACC play. Send you down to the field with Coley and Dabo.
Coach, you guys just won your 6th straight game since week 1. How has this team been rolling of late?
Well, I mean, we didn't win the turnover margin today, but we came back, and they're just, going to work every week, resetting, trying to make it the biggest game of the year every single week. We've had a chance to play a lot of guys. We get a little sloppy with some of our subs and stuff, but, I'm proud of them. I mean, this is a tough team. They're coached tough. But so it's a great win for us. And again, just all it is 6 wins. We got a long way to go.
You said you guys played a lot of players today. You had a lot of versatility today, too. Olsen Pat Henry, part of that with his 2 scores. Antonio running and passing. What did you think of the versatility today?
Well, I thought offensively we really were in rhythm all day. We had 2 possessions in the first half that we really